Space City Pop. The weather here in Texas is just crazy. I don't even remember how many tornadoes and hurricanes I've been through at this point. Although I will say that the most scary tornado I was ever close to was in Kansas. I was driving through Kansas. I was heading south back to Texas. And all of a sudden, I mean, there was nobody around. Like, it was like Dorothy and Oz. I was driving on this highway, and there was nothing around. It's completely flat. All you see is every couple of miles, you'll see like a little house way back on this flat land, and it'll be like a little wooden house. And the sky started turning green and gray. I'm driving along, and I'm thinking, well, it's gonna storm, but no big deal. I'll just keep on driving. I glance to the right and I see a huge funnel coming down out of the clouds, and this isn't like funnels I've seen before. This was like the movie Twister. Like this had to be an F4 or an F5. It had to be. This thing was the biggest tornado, like more than twice as big as any tornado I'd ever seen before. This thing was huge, and I'm thinking, and like I literally saw it forming out of the clouds. It was like, what the hell? Because to watch it literally form from almost nothing into like this monster is a really creepy feeling. I don't really know how long it was, but it seemed like it was like happening like fast forward. It felt really fast, but I don't know. It might have been over a couple minutes period of time. But this thing just drops down out of the sky. It formed into this huge, like it quickly formed into this huge tornado, and then comes down to the ground, and then it just starts bouncing around. I mean, this thing is huge. I'm like, oh my God, where the hell is this thing gonna go? I'm heading south. This thing is like to my right, but it's far off. It's like it's still a little bit far off in the distance, and I can't tell if it's gonna head left and head right towards where I'm driving, or if it's gonna go the other way or no. So I'm watching it very closely as I'm driving at a high rate of speed down this highway. I've already gotten my speed up probably to, I don't know if I should say on the podcast, but just assume I'm going very fast, okay? Very fast. The speed limit is no object here. My goal at this point is to outrun this thing. This was more than 10 years ago now. As I'm doing this, it's becoming apparent that the tornado is getting closer to me, so I know it's moving my direction. So from the tornado's point of view, it's going kind of northeast. But it's going more east than anything, so it's basically heading toward the highway that I'm on. Now, because the land is so flat in Kansas, you can see a pretty great distance away. You can see things that are pretty far away. But this thing is not that far away. And it's getting closer, it's getting closer. I kind of came to the decision, like, should I turn around and go the opposite way, or do you think you can beat this thing? And I kind of just made an instant decision. I think I can beat it. And so at this point, I gunned it even faster. Really crazy high rate of speed, which I'm not even going to say what that is, but it's very fast, okay? Don't ever do this. But when I was in this moment, I'm just telling you what happened on this day whenever I was in this moment, okay? This was my survival instinct on that day. So I'm just flying along, just not sure if I'm really going to beat this thing. Sure enough, I'm like watching this thing. It's like getting bigger. This thing is just getting bigger and bigger. And now it's on the ground. I can see like stuff flying up, like dust everywhere, and, you know, branches and just whatever gets near it. You know, it's like mostly fills, but you can just see where it was. There were no cows or, you know, farm animals or anything like that, and it wasn't like right next to a house or anything, although I'm sure it may have taken out houses. I don't know. I'm not a local, so I didn't stop and hang out and listen to the news to find out the aftermath, but I would not be surprised if a lot of people lost their homes on that day. And you could see all this dust and everything flying up and like this like huge swarm around it, but it's getting closer. And once I realized like it's still a pretty good ways off, but now I'm kind of like beside it. So it's closer, it's bigger, it's moving toward the highway that I'm on, but now I'm just to the left of it. At this point, I'm feeling like, okay, I think I did it, you know, unless the thing like bounces like a top and starts heading back up toward me. It's gonna cross the road. I have no doubt it's gonna cross the road, but I'm not gonna stick around to see how close it is and watch. And I'm just gone, and I get past it, and I'm pretty much home free after that. And I'm still kind of worried that more tornadoes are going to pop up around me. So, like, the next hour, I was kind of paranoid watching the sky. I made it to Texas, obviously. That was the worst one I ever saw.